Do you guys remember when earlier this year Apex Legends News shared a post on Twitter stating that Respawn are making a new game set in the Titanfall universe, with Titanfall game director Steve Fukuda leading the development, but that it wasn't Titanfall 3? This rumour originated on the 4th of March in 2024 for anyone who watches this video in the new year, from video game journalist Jeff Grubb, where he said this on his Game Mess Mornings podcast. Jeff Grubb said that the prototype was in its early stages of development, but continuing to gather steam. He also further stated that even though it's not Titanfall 3, it will still involve Titans in some way. These were some pretty heavy claims, and if you know what the Titanfall community is like, throwing allegations like this around is gonna get some people killed. Hardcore Titanfall fans like myself want nothing more for a new Titanfall game to come through the works, and giving people hope like this is not fair to say the least. So I'm hoping he considered that when he said this, and he never tells anyone his source, as that person would be in big danger throwing new and Titanfall game in the same sentence. Another thing Jeff said was that as Apex Legends had seen its peak in numbers and was in a very slow end-of-life scenario, that this supposedly new game in development could possibly be bringing the two games together to make a standalone game, since they are both set in the same universe. I made a few videos on these claims talking about my own thoughts and feelings, and how happy I was to hear that the new Titanfall game was in development, but how I wasn't that happy to hear that it wasn't going to be Titanfall 3. I had always thought that a direct sequel from Titanfall 2 would go down so much better than a whole new game itself, especially if the said game was to merge Apex Legends and Titanfall together. And even saying that out loud doesn't sound right, as Apex Legends and Titanfall, although are set in the same universe and share lore, they're both completely different games in the way they feel and what they stand for, and still to this day I believe, in my opinion, that Titanfall 3 would go down such a treat with the whole community, and it would make EA so much money, as of course we all know that's what they really care about. But yet I don't know why this isn't happening. The one thing that I can say is that if this new Titanfall game is truly being developed, I do think it's in good hands with Steve Fukuda, as look what he did for both Titanfall and Titanfall 2. He knew what direction he wanted to see those games go in, and if he's involved in any way, he will definitely know what's best for the game. That's still not to say that EA doesn't have a say in what direction the game could go, as we all know that EA owns Respawn, and EA have pretty much single-handedly ruined Apex Legends with microtransactions, alongside many other questionable decisions, but that's a completely different topic in itself. But that's exactly why I get worried when I hear things like Apex Legends and Titanfall together, because at one stage I really did enjoy Apex, but slowly was put off. Not from a gameplay standpoint. I've said numerous times that Apex Legends is probably the best battle royale to ever do it, but it's the greed and the lack of love that let it down for me, and if a new Titanfall game was to be released and it followed in the same kind of footsteps with endless cosmetics, pushed in your face with lack of new content like maps, weapons, etc., I would honestly hate it. Look, I understand that games have to make money, and I'll happily spend money, but I don't think that these big greedy corps owned by non-gamers, or maybe they are but I've just lost touch, understand gaming in its true form anymore. I'm definitely not the first person to say this, but if you make a game with love and passion, it really shines through in the game, and naturally people will want to spend money on it, rather than pushing cosmetics after cosmetics into our faces. And I think although Titanfall 2 was in a different era when it comes to cosmetics and the way microtransactions are today, people loved it so much because you could feel the time and the effort that had gone into it, and if more DLCs and skins came out for Titanfall 2 at the time, I would have happily bought them all. Even now, if the cosmetics were at an affordable price, it really is half the battle, because seriously, when did companies think it was okay to charge $300 for cosmetics? And yes, Apex, I'm talking about you. I think it's safe to say that since March of 2024 and all these rumours had arisen, Apex Legends has definitely took a steeper decline than they were possibly expecting. They knew it was happening, but maybe not this quick. There are so many people that have left and are still leaving, including pros and content creators, which does make me think that since they obviously knew that this was going to happen inevitably, that their plan was always to merge Apex and Titanfall together, as they know that Titanfall has such a big fan base and will pull numbers from both sides. I have a crazy theory that you're definitely going to want to hear, which I'll get in a little later on in this video, but let's just say this was the case, and Titanfall and Apex Legends did merge together. You already know my opinion on that, but let's just say it happened for example's sake, and it was called Titanfall Legends or something. I would really like to hope that the game would be built from the ground up, with the mechanics leaning more towards the Titanfall movement rather than Apex, as I do feel like the movement is far more superior and nicer feeling on Titanfall, but it's all personal preference, and of course I'm going to be more biased towards Titanfall, but from having hundreds and thousands of hours in both games, I can safely say I still do prefer Titanfall's movement. Even if they found a sweet spot somewhere in the middle would be nice, but the game would have to have wall running, no doubt, or at least a game mode that would have wall running. And of course, using the Source 2 engine, which is just an upgraded version of what Titanfall 2's engine is right now, and believe it or not, Apex as well. It would be cool to see an expanded version of both universes put into one game and possibly set after the events of Apex Legends, with a campaign, multiplayer modes, and a battle royale mode. Newer versions of the weapons that are currently available in both Titanfall and Apex would be cool to see, with some brand new ones of course. They could also bring in some characters from Apex and from Titanfall with possibly a new antagonist. Like, that game, if it was to become a game, would have so much potential if you put aside all your bad feelings towards Apex, as there is so many paths that it could go down and the foundations that it has. I was just throwing a few ideas out there, but the possibilities could be really cool and they're there for the picking. So my crazy theory that I was talking about is that imagine this new said game came out which wasn't Titanfall 3, but a game set in the Titanfall universe, and everyone loved it, and it had its life cycle, and then the next installment of that game was a prequel, which would actually be the Titanfall 3 that we've all been waiting for, if that makes any sense. Now, if that was the case, we'd be waiting another few years for our beloved Titanfall 3, but a few more years won't make a difference since we've already been waiting 8 years since Titanfall 2. You're probably thinking I'm crazy for that one, and yes, I know that is an absolutely absurd theory, and the chances of that ever coming to be is probably slim to none, but I've been given no choice. But all crazy theories aside, the facts are that since that post back in March of 2024, nothing has been said since and no new information has come out, and that's just the reality. Of course, I would love so much to be able to inform you guys more and tell you something is definitely in the pipeline, and there really could be, but until we get more information, all we can do is wait. One thing we can know for sure is that you can bet there'll be microtransactions in no matter what game we get, if we get it. But all I hope is that if we do, we'd get a game that concentrates more on the actual game, like the world we're playing in, the characters we're playing as, the storylines, the weapons, the maps, and all that good stuff. That way I could 100% get behind spending money in the game. In the meantime though, I'll always be keeping a close eye on things and still playing Titanfall on a regular basis and posting content about it. So if you want to see more and don't want to miss anything, be sure to subscribe with notifications on and help me reach my goal of 4,000 subscribers. And to everyone who's already subscribed, thank you so much for the support over the year. I'd love to hear all of your thoughts and feelings on this topic, and do you think we'll see any movement on this new Titanfall game that is apparently in the works for this new year, or could they surprise us and come out with Titanfall 3 out of the blue? Drop the video a like if you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching. I'll see you all next time.